What's up, guys? I'm Sam Thomas here. Welcome back to Game Time 123. Today I am doing the finale for 1 week of streams. This is number 3, I believe, where we'll be looking at cards that other people have created. And I'm going to take a look at what I think they would, if they can be printed or not, or if they have ability. So I'm going to be scaling this off a little bit off of what it's. So I think I have a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can see this. There's a little thing below this. If it's a Z, I'll be rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. Oh, 0 to 10, really. 0 means it's unplayable, you couldn't use it. 1 means it's playable, but it's weak. 3 to 4 means it's decent, but it's not very strong. 5, 6, and so on. You get your point. All the way up to if it's 10, where it's broken, it's too powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one of my cards before we get to it. And there's a little thing as I use. If it's playable and it's worded well, then it gets +1. But if it's too cheap or too expensive, I might get a -1 for that. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it today. Start off, this is one of the cards I created, Panicked Villager. This card is absolutely insane. Very much. Very much insane. So if I were to look at this card, and this, I mean, someone else that created this, obviously I created this one, but I would think, first off, it says, when you pay life to cast spells for 3 less life, you cast spells for 3 or 2 black less. This card is absolutely ridiculous. It's mythic for us. It's probably the right rating. It's a little cheap for what it needs to do. I mean, it's a 1/1, but you pay 2 life to draw 3 cards, and you pay 3 life to search library for a deck for a card that is mana 4 or less. This card is a little bit on the strong side. I would probably say it's probably up there at least a 9. It could even be higher than that. That's the ideas, though, so I'm going to go ahead and go through it. I don't even know what cards I'm looking at, though. This is the first time I've seen any of these cards. Let's take a look, and I'll give you a chance. Start off with the first card we're going to this, and we're just going to go down this. If it's in a weird language, I'm just going to skip it. We've got Rob of the Bincolocy. I'm probably going to pronounce these things wrong. Counter target spell. Its controller can't draw a card this turn. Oh, can't draw a card this turn. I mean, it kind of works. It kind of works. I mean, looking at it, it kind of works, but why would you want to use this? It's, first off, a 3 cost. So it's not exactly something that you would want to do for it. But it does, it counters a target spell, which is nice. That's pretty good. It doesn't really need the concept of its controller can't draw a card for this turn. I think it's a little bit of an overstep. I think, honestly, you could look at it being more likely a sorcery or something better than it. It's probably the wrong wording. I'm going to say this is not very strong, but it's not bad. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to go ahead and get my looking at a scale of 1 to 10 on this one, I'd probably say this is probably a 4. It's not super strong, but it's not bad. It's a pretty decent card. And I would say right now, it's not bad. It's a little bit weak. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say this is probably a 4 or a 5. I'm gonna see if I can get my thing up here. You guys won't be able to see it, but I wanted to make sure I have the right thing for it. Let's see. Card is decent, but weak, but not, or is decent, not weak, but not very strong. I would say it's probably not particularly strong. It's not terrible. And I think you could use this card. It's definitely playable. The concept, it is a little bit of a weird side. I think you probably could put this, if it goes up 1, it would be perfect. I would say it's, as of right now, I would say it's probably a 4. It could be a 5, but I don't think it's very playable right now. I don't think in the format it's currently in right now, I don't think anyone would play. I don't think this would be played very often. It's not a bad card though, I will say that. All right, moving on to the next card here. St. George. It's flying first strike haste, protects from dragons, and you can tap it to make it fight target creature you control. That is awful. First 3 abilities. That works really well. Yeah, it does definitely have the right capabilities for this. Being Vigilance, First Strike are both really good. However, fighting in this context doesn't work the way it's trying to be phrased. When you fight, they deal damage to each other. It's not dealing damage St. George will not deal damage to a creature before their creature dies. They'll both die still because fighting doesn't work the same way as everything else. It's a pretty good card, and I don't think it's mythic. I think it would work, and I think it's a pretty decent card for this. I would probably say it's probably a 7. I think it's worded well. It makes sense, but the fighting doesn't really context. Really, the only thing you want to do with this thing would be enchanting it somewhat. And I think this is actually a decent card. It's a little bit of a high rarity for me. I would say probably rare would be the best comment for this because it does have Vigilance, First Strike, and Haste, and Protection from Dragons. But fighting is really a weird mechanic in the game of Magic, and so I would say that's a really Combola. I think it's a pretty good card. It's a little bit of a weird card. I don't think fighting would work out too well. Also, really tapping it doesn't make much sense. I would say if you pay 1 mana to fight it, but it's a decent card. I'd say we have like 7 or 8 there. 0 to 9. Quest format. Quest. Is that a card type this other person tried to make? Did 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Oh yeah, it's a bunch of zeros and followed by 1. Quest. You draw a card. Draw a quest card from a 0 to 1 format. What? And then submit a quest in it to draw a card for send a quest. This card makes absolutely no sense to me. If I understood how a quest was supposed to work, and the quest is not a thing, by the way, then maybe it would work. But honestly, this card doesn't work. This is not playable in the current format, so we're looking at this unfortunately going to have to be a 0. You can't. There's no way to play this. I mean, you can. It also doesn't have a mana cost, so it's not even physically possible to play. Uncommon might be right, but it doesn't work quite well. Let's move on to the next card here. It's going to be something to study. Search your card. Search your card. That's 1 card. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Then shuffle. The next instant or sorcery that you cast costs 3 less. Their turn costs 3 less. This is interesting. It's a little expensive. It's a little expensive. Not terrible, but it is a little bit expensive. I would probably reduce this down to 2 blue for a sword because it's a sorcery. You don't play. You won't be. You can only play this on your turn. It's already hard to play. I would probably put this down with, and it does. I can see why they might have done that though, because it does. The next instant sorcery spell costs 3 less to cast. So I think it's honestly not terrible. I would probably say it's not strong, so I'm gonna go with it being. I'm gonna say it's a 6. I think it's a reasonable card. Makes sense. I think it might be a little bit over, but not terrible. It's a pretty decent card for that. Next card we got Vegan Burrito. Cost 5. It's an artifact burrito. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and trample. If equipped creature is an Elijah, I guess that's a creature type they made, it gets an additional +2/+2. So it's it's an additional 4/4. Then you can pay 8. You can pay 4 Phyrexian mana, which is 2 life or whatever the mana is, which is green in this case. Tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature. Then you exile it. Not the beans. And then you equip for 1 Phyrexian. Phyrexian is referring to either you pay the color of mana that it is, or you pay 2 life. It doesn't have any effect on the actual card. This is interesting. I honestly feel like it is a reasonable card. I could see it's been played. I don't know what tapping, why we would have a tapping enchanted creature. Exiling it's a little weird, but honestly, it's a really well worded card and really well played. I would say right now we're probably looking at this being on a 7. It is a very strong. Now, grant legend. I don't know what legend creatures are, if that actually exists or not. But if it was referring to a type, but even +2/+2 and trample was pretty good. And assuming the Elijah type is a thing, that's huge. I would say rare is probably the right rarity for this. It costs it's cost 5, so not unreasonable. And you can pay 8 life to deal damage to target creature or player. Actually, that could end the game. Wow, that could hurt pretty big here. That is definitely the right rarity. I can even see it being a mythic, except the fact that you have to exile it whenever you deal damage to it. I mean, just think about this. Equip it to a creature that's 10. I mean, there's a dinosaur that is 10/10, deals 20. You can put that on the thing, and it was 12/12. Deal 12 damage to the opponent. It would not be good in. It would not be good in Commander, but it would definitely be good in most other formats if this would be legal. I think it's pretty good. The Rule 93, 97. I can't read. Next one we got that's unplayable. It's a creature, whatever that is. It doesn't have any power or toughness. It's just a thing. This means nothing. Let's say it was a token, but that doesn't mean anything because unfortunately, this card isn't playable at this format. It is a 0, unfortunately. All you had to do is make it a 1/1. I don't know what the creature type would be anyways, but it's not playable. Alright, so you have something ward tracker. Cost 1, it's a 1/1 creature. You can pay 2 and tap it to target creature fights another creature. That could easily be a Masters card. Not a Masters card. I don't know what it's called. That could be a really good, interesting card to actually do it. And honestly, I think that's absolutely reasonable. It might make more sense for it to be like a 1-2, but honestly, it's still very good and very decent for this. I would actually say that's a good card, and I do think it is a common. I don't think it's very strong, so I would say, I mean, it's not particularly strong. I would say it's an 8. I think it's a decent 8. It's a very good card. I don't know how good it would be in format, but, you know, making a target creature by another creature, it doesn't have this creature. That could be huge in a game. So I'd say that's a pretty good card. That's a good card. 8 on that one. It's 2/2. I'm not gonna. I don't think tokens make any sense. The 2/2 Pratt. It's not spelled right. It's 2/2 Pratt. No. Pirate. Pirate. I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be pirate, I think. Werebear. Okay, this is a card that already exists. I'm not going to comment on it. It just worded. It's a different art. Werebear is a card that already exists and it does the exact cost. It's not coming. Indestructible Tripler 4. 7/7. What is that? I don't. And also, Mythic would not likely be cards. It wouldn't be that carded. What is Tripler? I don't think it's a mechanic. It's not currently. Yeah, I don't know what that is and what would create it, but that is a pretty dang strong. It's not. It would not be mythic. Most tokens, unless they're special art or special format, are common. So probably not exactly it. It could be really good at indestructible. I don't know what tripler or whatever that tripler 4 is. Make 4 creatures trip instead. I don't know what that exactly is, but if that's a pretty, I think it's a decent card. 7/7. I mean, even 7/7 for indestructible is pretty good. I don't know what would create this, but decent. It's playable if you have the right thing. I'm gonna go with it being, I think it's a 3. It's a little weak, in my opinion. It's a 7/7 because you have to have something to create it, and I don't know what would create it at this time. Maybe we'll find something that does that. Baron King amongst bears. It's a legendary creature bear. Isn't that a card? Whenever a bear enters the battlefield, you control put 2 encounters on target bear, or target bear fights another bark bear. Common? I don't know for sure that would. What is that a card? I'm trying to think that, because I feel like I might have seen that exact text before. No, it's not a card. Okay, but let's see. It's not a bear. That art is a little bit confusing to me. But here's the thing. Here's two things I'm going to say about this. Cool. It's a really cool card, and if you made a bear deck that was this, yeah, it would work out. It would be really interesting. I will say this. It's good work. It's a really good card, and if you have a bear deck, that's really great. It would have to be at least an uncommon. Legendary creatures, except for token legendary creatures, are never common. They're always at least uncommon. It's just because that's the way Magic made them. It just happens to be that way. I've never seen a common legendary creature other than tokens. So it's a good card, and I think as long as the rarity is fixed, this could be. I think honestly, this could easily be printed. I don't know how many bears there are, but this could easily be printed. I'm gonna favorite this. This is a pretty good card. Or for that, it would probably have to be an uncommon. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I say this is really good. You have to make it. It would be difficult to make a deck around it, and honestly, it could be really good in Commander. I'm gonna say it's a 7. I think it's strong. I don't know how strong it would be because I don't know how many bears there are in context. But it could be really good. Moving on. Captive. Okay, I can't read this. Hold on, let me get translate up here. Translate. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Sleight of hand, draw a card. Okay, so this is an extra thing. So draw a card is the first ability. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are probably not going to understand what that is. And then we got, let's see, it is Spanish. Stick attack. Destroy target creature with or planeswalker with mana out of 4 or greater. Goodness. And my 7, and that explains why it was frat. Son of the Seas, create a token. Oh, and 2 pirates, which is what that we were actually just looking at. And 2 pirate tokens. That explains why it was like that. It was in a different language. It was a 2/2 pirate. That card is just a token though, so it didn't really make much of a difference. We didn't really look at that. I don't think it was necessary for this, but let's see. Looking at the abilities, the draw card is not that great, and it would take 4 turns for you to get to that, and to get a 7/7. And then the other one here is store creature with power, or store target creature, or with mana cost 4 or less. I think honestly it's not bad. I don't understand. Other than I didn't understand the language. It's interesting. I don't know how good it would be, and it probably would be a rare. Because drawing card is not that great. Destroy a creature or planeswalker would have to be specifically, and it has to be mana value 4 or less, and only 1. I think the last ability is ridiculous, but it would take a while to get to that. I would say we're looking at this being playable. I don't think it's very strong. I'm going to say it's a 6. It's slightly weaker, but it's playable. That's a decent card. Curse of, I don't know, malnutrition. Enchant player. Wait, this already exists, doesn't it? I'm not gonna rate a card if it already exists. Yep. Okay, it kind of exists. It kind of exists. Okay, so enchant player. At the beginning of each enchant player's upkeep, they put 1 counter on each creature they control. If they don't, they get 2 poison counters. Woo! That's pretty good. And honestly, I feel like the mana cost is absolutely spot on. So basically, here you go. You have 2 options here. Put a basically slime token on each one of these, and they get 1/1/1/1 for each slime token, or get 2 poison counters. I think that means they have 5 turns. Each of their creature can have -5/-5, or get 2 poison counters. This actually works out really well. It's a little bit overpowered, in my opinion. I would say it's very strong. I'm going to go with a 9. I think this is very good. I'm going to favorite that. That's a really good. Jace Barin. That's a good card, Jace. Man. Okay, so one of those cards, I don't know what it says. Something about equipment cards. Alright. Armored to the teeth. You may equip a battlefield equipment you control without paying anything else. Okay, basically equip target a specific type of equipment to the creature without paying any cost. Let's see. It says. Let's see what we got here. Create a 2/1 dwarf. Not particularly powerful, and also that's probably right. And we get our target creature gets haste, double strike, miss, trample, and indestructible until end of turn. Whoa! That is definitely mythic. The last ability throws it it's gonna be a million. And you get a free equipment. That's huge. Definitely a right rating for that one. AlexBut.net. That is a huge hit. I don't think it would work and be played anywhere. But honestly, I could easily see that being probably at least an 8. I mean, this is really good. Its last ability kills you, though. So I would say it's not broken. I'd say 9. We're looking at 9 here. It's really strong. It's not quite broken because it is still a couple turns before you guys. And is it you may? If it is, you may. So that could be pretty broken. I don't know. I'd say it's edging towards 10 there. Next card we got here is, okay, we got to know these. Let's see what we got for Spanish. Lay on hands. Oh, so we're doing D&D here. Target creature gains lifelink to end of turn. That's not what Lay on Heads does. Lay on Heads is heal target player 3 life, but generally, okay, that's reasonable for +1. That could fit, and definitely right now that makes it pretty much on the at least a rare. Shield of Faith. Choose target a non-player target and gains an instruct point in a turn. I'm sorry. Why do you have to say choose a non-player target? Because that makes no sense. I get it. You choose a target that gets indestructible. You yourself do not have indestructible. And well, even if you did, it doesn't make a difference because, you lost your life. Great job, you lost. You lose at the after shield effect turns. Yes, that works. I think that works. So far we're doing. These are pretty good. This is pretty good. Exile up to 2 creatures, enchantments, or planeswalker targets. Okay, that's. So exile 2 creatures, planeswalkers. Up to 2 creatures and targets. So I think it's 2 creatures. So actually, I still think it's pretty good. I don't think you ever want to use a negative. You just use the first 2. That's pretty good. Definitely a mythic. I don't think it's too. I don't think it's particularly powerful. I'm gonna say, I think it's a 9. I'm gonna say it's an 8. I think 8.5. It's pretty close to a 9, I'd say. Really good. It's a really good card. Good job, Alex Dutman. Power of Cassandra. Okay, chant creature gets +2/+2 for each one counter. These would never be used. Oh, remember that card we had a few frames ago? What's the counteract here? Oh, you want to put -1? Okay, easy. I'll put on a chant. So my creature has like 3 -1 wins. I'm gonna chant it. It gets +2/+2 for each -1/-1 counter on it. So basically, it is -3/-3. It gets +6. It gets +3. Yes, that could be interesting. I don't think it's too much. It'll be used anywhere, but could be pretty good. I would say it's playable. I would say it's probably not particularly strong because it'd be a very, very, very Pacific format. I'm gonna say it's a 6. It's playable. It's not. It's kind of weak. It would be our Pacific format. Oh, Pharaoh's Power Plant. I've seen this before. I'm not gonna look at it. It's a card that I see in Magic Arena. I don't know what that is. Something here. First strike. Okay, I will give you guys a hint. Whenever you do create cards like this, if you put this in italics, then it'd be a little bit better because it will take up less room. It's not a problem. First strike, it deals damage. Oh my goodness. It has vigilance and oh my goodness. 4/3 for 3? Oh my goodness. I will tell you right now, that is pretty good. I think I honestly feel like if they could make this card, they probably actually have somewhere. First strike vigilance. I'm betting that's a card somewhere. I don't know what the actual rating is. I would say you probably did this pretty good. Rare is probably right. I would say First Strike and Vigilance is pretty powerful. 4/3 is a pretty. I would say they probably put this as a 3/4, not 4/3. I think it just does really work well. It's a little bit. It works out really well. I would say. I think it's an 8. I think it's a reasonable card. It has First Strike and Vigilance for that. I think it's a really good card for that. Accurate Shot. Okay, so this is a sorcery. It's supposed to be common. Destroy a target creature with damage counters on it. What is a damage counter? What's a damage counter? I think what this person means, with Gabrius 74 means is it basically destroy target creature that's taken damage this turn. That's what I think it means. It's not worded correctly. Destroy target. It's basically destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, and it has dominance. If another spell with dominance was cast this turn, I still don't know if that's a thing or not. It can't be countered. I'd say right now, if it was worded correctly, I think it worked out. Problem is, you could never cast this because it would never work. Because the way damage works, you deal damage to a player. Maybe you deal damage to a creature. The damage is removed at the end of the turn. The damage counters don't exist, but I think they're taking damage. So honestly, this could work, and common is probably correct. I don't really know what exactly it is. It's a decent card. I think it's worded wrongly, which means it's going to be -1 for that. I'd say it's a little weak. It's not bad though. I'm going to go with it being a 3. I think it's a decent card. It's playable but not strong. Moving to the next one, we got King Rohan. That's something of prophecy. Other hand creatures, I guess it's creature type. You control get +1/+1 have vigilance, and you can create an X1/1 creatures where X is half of the number as rounded up, so you get 1. So this could get pretty good. This could be really good. Rare is a little bit. I think you probably get this in uncommon. So basically, if I'm understanding correctly, basically what would happen, you would have a creature, you would tap this, you create 1. Tap it again, you create another 1. Tap it again, you create 2. It would be very slow, but it could work out really well. I don't think it would be a great commander, but honestly, it could be good. I don't think a creature type would ever really exist that much. But, honestly, it's not terrible. It's limited. I would say it's probably a 4. It's not very strong, but it's decent. It might be 1 area down. Moving up, we got Academy Exhaustion. Counter target creature spell. Isn't that a card? I mean, it's kind of is. I'm pretty sure that is that a card? Let me see. Is that a card? No, that's that would be images. Counter target spell. I mean, it does exist, kind of. There are plenty of cards that do exactly the same thing. It's already been made. It does work for uncommon. I say this is playable. It's not very strong. I say we got like 5. It's weaker, but it's playable. It's definitely playable. Next card we got Apex X Charge Rifle, which is an artifact. It says it costs 1. 1 black Phyrexian mana, 1 red Phyrexian mana. So basically, you could get this on turn 1, I guess, if you want to. When a crippled creature becomes tapped, it doesn't tap during your controller's next untaps it gains Shroud. Okay. That's a little weird. Creature has tapped, deal 3 damage to your target. You can also sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to your target, or you can, and it equips for the 2 and then 1 black Phyrexian mana, 1 red Phyrexian mana. Okay, I don't know why you would ever use this, to be honest. There's another card that's it's decent, and it's the exact same format. I would say it's probably would be considered uncommon. I can see it though. I mean, it would work. I would say it's probably a 5. I don't think it's super strong for that. All right, let's move on to the next card. Force of Will. This card already exists. It is one of the most expensive cards in the game. I know where that scene came from. I'm not going to say where it is, but you pay 1 life and exile a blue card hits rather than pay its mana cost. Counter target spell. Yeah, I think honestly, if I was actually to put this card into play, I would say it's a rare, but it is really good. I mean, it does have its I think it's what was the price for that right now? Current price is, I had this exact copy, I think, $60-some. So yeah, this would probably not be allowed because it is a card that does exist. This card is pretty good. I would say it's an 8. I don't think it is the most weird. I think it's pretty strong, but it's not the most strong card ever. Manually and the Destroyer cost 4, 1 black, 2 black, and a red. At the beginning of your in each main phase, untap it, the Destroyer. So you untap it every turn. Okay, that's reasonable. Then at the beginning of each end step, you may, I think it's supposed to be tap, Manually and Destroyer, toe. That would be bring to the field, I guess. 1/1 black assassin to reach over. Death touch. It has death touch, haste, and flying. Definitely a mythic. There's no doubt. 4/5. It's a little expensive, but for 4/5, and the fact that you can tap it every turn, there's no doubt it's mythic for me. Death touch and haste. Putting death touch and flying together is already puts it up in like minutes. This card is absolutely broken. I would say right now, this is the first card I'm going to say it is a 10. This card is way too broken because here's the thing. Because you have the ability to tap it on turn 1. And that's actually mean you can tap it because you said you may tap it, so it doesn't actually trigger. So you got two. Basically on turn 1, or the first turn you get it out, you've got 2 more, then 2 more, then 2 more. You're basically making your entire field minutes. This card is absolutely broken. I'm absolutely saying it's a good card. Shrine's Influence. I don't know what that is. When it enters battlefield, target player discards a card and creates a 1/1 black advisor token with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. That's really weird. And whenever you play an instant on your main phase, you return it to its owner's hand. Okay, that's weird. Cool. I don't really know how that would work. I say it's probably I think it's probably a 6. It's a little weak because the kind you can just all right. I don't want to let it feel. I'm just going to play it during my main phase instant. You put it back in your hand, which means they have to constantly play the mana for it. Unfortunately, that doesn't last long. So I think that it's a reasonable card. Subversal Delegate. Deck has many copies of this. When there enters the battlefield, target opponent gains control of it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. I feel like I made cards like this. I did, but that is that's not good. There's a reason. I'll show you the cards that I made that it's in a second here because I mean if you lose 1 life because it's too easy to use this. Get rid of it. All you say, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice my creatures. Yes. Sacrifice creature. There's cards that allow you to do this. That is, or you destroy her creature. There's so many stuff. There's so much to do for it. I say it's not great. It's a pretty decent card. It would probably be considered at least an uncommon. I would say it is at least it's a 3. It is playable and it's reasonable. I just don't think it's going to be played. Constitutional Square. Enters tapped. At the beginning of so you add mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you do not lose life since your last turn, you may gain 1 life. Why is it enter tapped? Other than the fact that it enters tapped, I think that's weird. It's weird. I don't see any reason for it to gain tapped. I think uncommon is absolutely the right thing for it. You gain 1 life. I think it's reasonable. I would say it's probably not very strong. I'm gonna go with it being a 5. I think it's reasonable. Yeah, but it's going to be what it is. Next card we got is Polis Devote. Whenever it enters battlefield, Create a devotion token. Don't know what a devotion token does, so this could be terrible. 0-1 means, well, it's a defender at least. I don't know what devotion tokens do. James, Singer of the Plain. It partners with another card, which I'm assuming is in here somewhere. Until the end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1, or you can pay 2 to get a 1/1 token of life. Pretty good. Land creature? I'm sorry, wait. That's terrible. That's terrible, actually. So I made back in my first stats I made was that had land creatures. They were either lands or they were creatures. But you had to pay them for it to be. You either played them as a land or you played them as a creature. You had to pay a certain cost for it. It cost 0 or otherwise. I don't think this is a mythic. That's weird. I think maybe they meant legendary creature. I don't think mythic is the right term for that. Moving on, let's see what we got. Explosion Mutation. As integral cost, the sacrifice an artifact, it deals 3 damage to any target. It's reasonable. I've seen this kind of card before. It's decent. I'd say it's probably a 7. Or like a 6.5. It's pretty good for what else. Ace Master Inferior. If a creature would deal damage to this, destroy that creature and put a loyalty counter on it if its loyalty is above 1. Oh, okay. I get the explanation for that. So basically what it's trying to say is, if this creature would deal damage to it, as long as its loyalty is not 0, then you get to destroy that creature. Otherwise, you basically can't. So basically, like death touch. You put a -1 counter on each creature you control. I'm assuming it's meant -1 counter on each creature you control. Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to do that? Target creature gets control of this until your next turn. They must activate the +1 ability. Okay. After draw step. Oh well. I mean, I don't know why you ever use this. Okay. Mythic, probably not. Rare, yes. Is it playable? Sure. Is it good? No. Probably 5. Something known as King of the Worms. Whenever it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your opponent's graveyard to the battlefield under your control. It becomes a black zombie additional to types. Non-token zombies have, whenever this creature enters the field, mass 1. So this is an infinite trigger, I think, or almost. It could be an infinite trigger because this is okay. Non-token. So yeah, if it says zombies, this could be really good. I don't think it's great. It's not. Because you can put a creature from your opponent's graveyard, which could be actually really broken. I'm gonna say it could be very powerful. I'm gonna go with it being I'm gonna say it's probably a 9.5. It's pretty close to being really, really good. Moving on to the next card. Here's the Secret Flame. A legendary creature. Yeah, I think they meant legendary creature before. James, Figure of the Plane. Ward 2. This spell costs 1 less for each human you control. Okay. And the humans you control have first strike. When the human you control deals damage to the common damage to the player, create a target token and go target creature. You know, that's really good. That's really good. It's not hard to get out. It wouldn't be too difficult to get out because all you have to get is to get out to humans, and humans is pretty common. 2/2 is a little weak, but honestly, Mythic is probably the right context here. I think it's a little. I think it's probably a little bit overpowered, but that's. Yes. I would say we're looking at it being an 8. I think an 8's being reasonable. Bon Vort. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you create a 3/3 boar soldier with trample. When it enters the battlefield, the battlefield with 3 reinforcement counters. When you are dealt damage, I think the mid to this in 2 minutes. Remove one of them and create a 3/3 boar soldier with trample. If there are no more units, then exile it. I think that's reasonable. That is actually a reasonable card. It's a little expensive, but I think it's reasonable. I think, honestly, rare is the right tournament for this. And I will say right now, this card is pretty strong. Pretty good. I would go with it being, I think it's probably a good 7.5. It's 7 or 8. So I think it's really good. I don't think it's something that I would ever use because it's just weird. But it's not bad. Kella the Righteousness. This looks like Arcus. It's a human angel. At the end of your turn, you gain 1 experience counter, which is a thing that's in Magic somewhere. And at 5 counters, gains vigilance. At 10, it has vigilance. At 10 counters, it gains first strike and +3 is 3. And at 15, it gains double strike at 15 hits. And at 25, you win the game. Whew. My goodness. Imagine putting this in. This is huge. Not broken. Definitely a 9. It's definitely not broken. But oh my goodness. At the end of your turn. I mean, all you have to because it takes 25 turns for you to win the game. But still, I mean, it's still a pretty powerful creature here. Doesn't give you extra things for that. So, that's pretty good. I would say 9 for that easily. The Watcher. Human Monk. Does this exist? If the Watcher's toughness is greater than its power, it has vigilance. Otherwise, it has first strike. Huh? So, if its toughness is greater, which it is right now, so it has vigilance. Otherwise, it has first strike. When you cast a spell, you may switch Watcher's power. Okay, so you make it 4/2 in toughness. If Watcher is greater than its power, when you do this, add 1 colorless. Otherwise, it deals 2 damage to target player. Okay. Mythic is not the right term for it. I think it's easily a rare. It would work. I would say we're probably looking at it being an 8 or 7 or 8. So it's a decent card. It's not mythic. It's not mythic. It's probably rare. Death Knight the Reaper. If another creature dies or creatures put into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield this turn, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent moves a card. Does this work? I think this card exists. Okay. Alright, we're at the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the cards that I have made. And we saw one of the cards earlier. And I have a stream somewhere. We've got, I think there was a card. There were several cards I had like this. I don't know if it was it in this set? I don't know if it was. I think it was in Control because it made sense.
We'll find it. Find some cards in there. I think I went over the cards before, but
I think Secret of Control is one of them. Let's see. When there's battlefield, target opponent gains control of it. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, sacrifice another target creature, and they can't be sacrificed, which is huge. It's not good. It's not good, but it is. That's the idea I have for that. I think we're going to end the stream here now. We saw some pretty good cards today. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I will not be streaming next Saturday, and I will not be streaming tomorrow. I thought I was going to do that, but I'm not going to stream tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to keep your game on. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next week. And I'll see you in the future.